Michael and Emily had been dating for 3 years. They were deeply in love, and everyone thought they were the perfect couple. But Michael had a dark side. Emily was a devout Christian, and she dressed modestly. She wore long skirts and blouses that covered her shoulders. Michael had never had a problem with this before, but one day, something changed. Michael started to criticize Emily's clothing. He told her that she looked old-fashioned and unattractive. He said that she should wear more revealing clothes to show off her body. Emily was confused and hurt. She didn't understand why Michael was suddenly criticizing her. She tried to explain to him that she dressed modestly because of her faith. But he wouldn't listen. As time went on, Michael's criticism turned into abuse. He would yell at Emily and call her names. He would tell her that she was stupid and ugly. Emily was devastated. She didn't know what to do. She loved Michael, but she couldn't take the abuse anymore. She started to doubt herself and her faith. Maybe she was wrong to dress modestly. Maybe she should wear more revealing clothes to make Michael happy, but deep down, Emily knew that she couldn't compromise her faith. She knew that she had to stand up for what she believed in, even if it meant losing Michael. As time went on, Michael's behavior towards Emily became more and more erratic. He would criticize her in front of his friends, making her feel small and insignificant. One day, they were at a party with Michael's friends. Emily was wearing a modest dress, as she always did. But Michael was drunk and in a bad mood. "Hey, look at Emily's dress," Michael slurred, pointing at her. "She looks like a nun." "What's wrong with you, Emily? Don't you want to show off your body?" Emily was mortified. She felt like crawling under a rock and hiding. Michael's friends laughed and snickered, making her feel even more humiliated. "Michael, stop it," Emily whispered, trying to pull him aside. "You're embarrassing me." But Michael just laughed. "Oh, come on, Emily. Don't be so uptight. I'm just joking around," but Emily knew that Michael wasn't joking. He was trying to hurt her, to make her feel small and insignificant. As the party went on, Emily felt more and more uncomfortable. She didn't want to be around Michael's friends, who seemed to think that it was okay to treat her like dirt. Finally, Emily had had enough. She stood up and announced that she was leaving. Michael tried to stop her, but she pushed him away. "I'm not going to stay here and be humiliated by you," Emily said, her voice shaking with anger. "I deserve better than that." As Emily walked out of the party, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. She knew that she had made the right decision, and that she was better off without Michael's toxic behavior in her life. The next day, Michael showed up at Emily's doorstep, looking contrite. "Emily, I'm so sorry for what I did last night," he said, his voice filled with remorse. "I was drunk and stupid, and I shouldn't have treated you like that." Emily was taken aback by Michael's apology. She had expected him to be defensive and angry, but instead he seemed genuinely sorry. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you," Emily said, her voice shaking. "You hurt me so badly last night." Michael nodded, his eyes filled with tears. "I know I did," he said. "And I don't blame you for feeling that way. But please, Emily, give me another chance. I promise to make it up to you." Emily hesitated, unsure of what to do. A part of her wanted to forgive Michael and give him another chance, but another part of her was scared of getting hurt again. As she looked into Michael's eyes, Emily saw something there that gave her hope. She saw a deep regret and a desire to make things right. "Okay," Emily said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'll give you another chance." Michael's face lit up with relief and joy. "Thank you, Emily," he said, pulling her into his arms. "I promise to make it up to you." As they hugged, Emily felt a sense of forgiveness wash over her. She knew that she still had to be careful around Michael, but she also knew that he was genuinely sorry for what he had done. Over the next few weeks, Michael worked hard to regain Emily's trust. He was kind and gentle, and he made sure to listen to her and respect her boundaries. As they spent more time together, Emily found herself falling in love with Michael all over again. She realized that everyone makes mistakes, and that it's how we learn from those mistakes that matters. Finally, Michael asked Emily to move in with him. Emily was hesitant at first, but Michael promised to take care of her and make her happy. In the end, Emily agreed to move in with Michael. As time went on, Emily began to notice that Michael was flirting with other women. At first, she tried to brush it off as harmless, but as it continued to happen, she couldn't ignore it anymore. Michael would flirt with women who dressed provocatively, even when Emily was right there with him. He would make comments about their bodies, and even touch them inappropriately. Emily felt like she was going to be sick. She couldn't believe that Michael was doing this to her, especially after everything they had been through. One day, they were at a party, and Michael was flirting with a woman who was wearing a very revealing dress. Emily saw him touching the woman's arm, and she felt a surge of anger. "Michael, what are you doing?" Emily asked, her voice shaking with anger. Michael turned around, a guilty look on his face. "Oh, I was just being friendly," he said, trying to downplay the situation, but Emily was not fooled. She knew that Michael was flirting with the woman, and she knew that it was not acceptable. "I don't want to be with someone who flirts with other women right in front of me," Emily said, her voice firm. Michael looked at her, a mixture of surprise and anger on his face. "You're being too sensitive," he said. "I was just being friendly," but Emily stood her ground. "I don't care if you were just being friendly," she said. "I deserve better than to be treated like this." And with that, Emily turned and walked away, leaving Michael alone at the party. She knew that she deserved better. Michael was furious when Emily walked away from him at the party. He couldn't believe that she had embarrassed him in front of his friends. To make matters worse, Michael's friends were all taking Emily's side. They told him that he had been wrong to flirt with other women in front of her, and that he needed to apologize and make things right, but Michael was too proud to listen. Instead, he decided to take revenge on Emily. He started insulting her in front of his friends and his new girlfriend, making fun of her clothes and her hair. His friends were shocked by Michael's behavior, and they tried to advise him to stop. "Michael, come on, man," one of them said. "You're being really cruel. Just apologize to Emily and move on," but Michael wouldn't listen. He was determined to hurt Emily, and he didn't care who he hurt in the process. One day, Michael brought a woman home and slept with her in front of Emily. Emily was devastated, and she felt like she had been punched in the gut. "How could you do this to me?" Emily asked, tears streaming down her face. Michael just shrugged. "You're not my girlfriend anymore," he said. "I can do what I want." Emily realized that she had made a mistake by staying with Michael for so long. She packed her bags and left, determined to start a new life without him. As she walked away from the house, Emily felt a sense of relief wash over her. She knew that she deserved better than Michael, and she was excited to start a new chapter in her life. After leaving Michael's house, Emily felt like she was starting from scratch. She had no idea what she wanted to do with her life, or where she wanted to go, but as she was walking down the street, she stumbled upon a small cafe. She decided to go inside and grab a cup of coffee. As she was sipping her coffee, a man approached her. He was tall, handsome, and had piercing blue eyes. "Hi," he said, smiling at her. "My name is Alexander." "What's yours?" Emily was taken aback by Alexander's charm and confidence. She stumbled over her words, but eventually managed to introduce herself. Alexander and Emily struck up a conversation, and Emily found herself feeling more and more at ease. Alexander was kind, listening, and genuinely interested in getting to know her. As they talked, Emily found herself opening up to Alexander in ways she never had with Michael. She told him about her past, her fears, and her dreams. Alexander listened attentively, offering words of encouragement and support. Emily felt like she had finally found someone who truly understood her. As the days turned into weeks, Emily and Alexander grew closer and closer. He took her on romantic dates, surprised her with thoughtful gifts, and treated her like a queen. But what really surprised Emily was that Alexander also helped her to discover her own sense of style. He took her shopping, showed her how to dress sexy and romantic, and encouraged her to try new things. Emily had never felt so confident and beautiful in her life. She realized that she had been living in a shell, afraid to express herself and show off her personality. Thanks to Alexander, Emily finally felt like she was living the life she was meant to live. She was happy, confident, and in love. As they sat on the beach, watching the sunset, Alexander turned to Emily and said, "I love you." Emily's heart skipped a beat. "I love you too," she replied, smiling. Alexander was a master of transformation. He had a keen eye for style and a deep understanding of what made Emily tick. With his help, Emily's wardrobe underwent a radical transformation. Gone were the dowdy, conservative outfits that Michael had forced her to wear. In their place were sleek, sexy dresses that hugged Emily's curves in all the right places. Alexander took Emily to the best salons in town, where she received pampering treatments that left her feeling like a queen. Her hair was styled in a sleek, modern bob, and her makeup was transformed from dull and natural to bold and glamorous. As Emily looked in the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back at her. She was confident, sexy, and utterly radiant. One day, as Emily was browsing through a shop, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Emily," the voice said, hesitant and unsure. Emily turned around to see Michael standing behind her, a look of shock and awe on his face. "Michael," Emily replied, her voice cool and detached. Michael's eyes scanned Emily's body, taking in her sleek dress and stylish hair. He looked like he had been punched in the gut. "Wow, Emily," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "You look amazing." Emily raised an eyebrow, a small smile playing on her lips. "Thanks," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "I've been doing a lot of work on myself lately." Michael looked at her, his eyes filled with regret and longing. "I'm sorry, Emily," he said, his voice cracking. "I was wrong to treat you the way I did. Can you ever forgive me?" Emily looked at him, her heart cold and hard. "I've moved on, Michael," she said, her voice firm. "I'm happy now, and I don't need your apologies." And with that, Emily turned and walked away, leaving Michael standing alone in the shop, looking like a man who had lost everything. Michael was determined to win Emily back. He tried everything he could think of: flowers, chocolates, romantic dinners, even groveling at her feet. But no matter what he did, Emily remained unmoved. She had moved on, and she was happy with Alexander. Michael's attempts to win her back only served to remind her of why she had left him in the first place. As the months went by, Michael's behavior became more and more erratic. He would show up at Emily's work, begging her to take him back. He would call her repeatedly, leaving her voicemails and texts that were increasingly desperate and angry, but Emily remained firm. She had made her choice, and she was sticking to it. Finally, after months of trying, Michael realized that he had failed. Emily was gone, and she was never coming back. He slunk away, defeated, and Emily was finally able to put the past behind her. Alexander, sensing that Emily was finally free from Michael's grasp, decided that it was time to take their relationship to the next level. He took Emily to a beautiful beachside resort, where he had planned a romantic getaway. As they walked along the beach, watching the sunset, Alexander turned to Emily and got down on one knee. "Emily," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "From the moment I met you, I knew that you were the one for me. Will you marry me?" Tears of joy streaming down her face. Emily nodded eagerly. Yes, yes, a million times yes, she exclaimed. As Alexander placed the ring on her finger, Emily knew that she had finally found her happily ever after. Their wedding was a beautiful, romantic affair, with friends and family gathered from all around to celebrate their love. As they exchanged their vows, Emily couldn't help but think about how far she had come. From the darkness of her past with Michael, to the bright, shining love of her present with Alexander.